Hello, and welcome to the final edition of Academic Matters for this academic year. I'm Joe Marbach, the Provost at LaSalle University. During this entire segment, I'll be joined by Dean Paul Brazina, who is the Dean of the School of Business here at LaSalle and is finishing up his term as Dean. Paul, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. In fact, welcome back to the program. You're my first repeat guest.
Thank you. That's great.
In 2 years. Paul, for folks who probably don't remember your last appearance, which was back in the fall 2011, give us a little bit of your background and how you ended up at LaSalle and how long you've been here.
I've been at LaSalle a long time. I've been at LaSalle for 39 years, and I started out in 1974 on the accounting faculty. I came out of industry. I was working for in those days, it was called Coopers & Lybrand. It's now called PricewaterhouseCoopers. And I always thought it would be great to teach. I had an opportunity for a full-time position at LaSalle, and I'd never really taught in front of a group. So I took the job really not knowing everything I was facing. Certainly I'd been in grad school and I was familiar with good professors. But the real question is, would you be good? You know, would I be good at the job? So after teaching the first day, I thought this may be a good opportunity to quit and not come back again. I was a little nervous in speaking in front of a group, and then I did decide to come back. And by the end of my first year, I was just loving the job.
Okay, and they threw you in 4 classes each semester?
4 classes each semester. I had a nice full class each class, 35 students per class, and it was just a great experience.
Okay. And you're teaching, I guess, accounting principles?
I was teaching intermediate accounting.
Oh, intermediate.
And so they kind of threw me right into the fire. And the students were just wonderful. The LaSalle students then and now are just really committed kids. They come here and they work hard. And the best part of the job is watching them over 39 years and what they've done in their careers. And our students, you know, have tended to do really well.
Yeah, that has been one of the hallmarks, and I know you pride yourself on it. We've been working together now the past 3 years, and with a lot of focus on the School of Business, and particularly the outcomes. I'm going to give you an opportunity to brag about your programs and the students and some of those outcomes. Tell us, you know, all the good things that are happening in the School of Business and that have happened under your watch.
Well, under my watch is really a continuation of a lot of really good administrators that were before me and really set up good programs. LaSalle has a very long tradition in accounting, and this probably goes back to at least the 1930s, where we were really a major feeder for the large CPA firms internationally and also in our region. And a lot of those young people that started out in doing certified public accounting migrated into industry and doing a lot of different jobs. When I came to LaSalle, we had a lot of sort of mid-level managers who were LaSalle alums. And one of the big changes I've seen is that the graduates that we had years ago have now become CEOs and CFOs of some major companies.
Yeah, it's amazing as we look, and we're familiar with many of them who are on our board of trustees, but they came up through the accounting ranks and then moved on into managerial or became entrepreneurs themselves and founded companies or CEOs of companies. And I don't know if there's a large firm operating in the city of Philadelphia or in the surrounding areas that doesn't have significant LaSallian leadership.
Well, that's right. And you know, just to tell some of the funny stories, I had a student back in the late 70s, and he was a young man. He had shoulder-length hair. He wore the same green T-shirt to class every day. I used to look at him, and he was smart, but I always thought in my own mind, this person is unemployable. Nobody will ever hire him, even though he was extremely bright. And after graduation, he did get a good job, and today he is CFO of a huge company. And when I see him back on campus, I always talk about what he used to look like as a student, and he carries a little picture of himself from the late 1970s, and he likes to take it out and say, this is what I used to look like, and I certainly recognize the green T-shirt. So
hasn't left that.
He hasn't left that.
Yeah, You mentioned and you touched on something that has also been a long tradition at LaSalle, re-engaging alumni. And we have a number of programs, whether it's Bankers Day or it's just bringing alumni in to speak to classes on because of their expertise. Tell us a little bit about how you continue to engage our alums.
Well, the first thing is we try to stay in contact with a lot of our alumni. And we do that through some very traditional methods like newsletters and faculty updating us on what their graduates are doing. But we really do feel it's important for a variety of reasons to engage alums. The biggest reason is the impact on students. So bringing executives into the classroom, the theory that the students are learning, they can then match to the real practice of business. And I think what they get to see is that the theory is not unrelated. There's a close relationship between theory and practice. I think that's good. The other thing is it gives us opportunities to develop co-op work experiences for our students and also permanent jobs. So there seems to be a pipeline, using your graduates to make introductions for students, and then those students get good jobs.
Yeah, and I want to touch on something that you mentioned, which I think is really a hallmark of the educational experience at LaSalle in general, but particularly in the School of Business, and it's that practical element of what we're training our students to do. And I often couch it in terms of a relevant education so that we're preparing students, you often say, for a really good first job, and now it's become a career because they become lifelong learners, and what's next in their steps along the way. Tell me a little bit about the curriculum and what you're seeking to do.
What we really try to do early on in a student's career, we begin business education in the freshman year, whereas a lot of other schools really start business education in the junior year. We treat business as a foreign language, and for a lot of our students, it's a foreign language for a long period of time. And we treat it as a foreign language in the fact that there's specialized terms that are not like everyday terminology, and then there's concepts that are fairly sophisticated concepts. The longer a student gets to use those terms and concepts, the more comfortable they feel in business. And then while they're learning those terms and concepts, we're introducing them to business people. They're getting to see what different career tracks are like and what some of their options may be for careers. So within the curriculum, we're building time to really talk about current practice. And I think that's very LaSallian. That's what the brothers have always tried to do with education. So we continue with that, and then usually when a student's in their junior year, we expect them to go out either on a full-time work experience like a co-op or part-time work experience as an internship, so that by the time they get to their senior year, they have a really good background in theory, they have some practice from working, and then they can start to make some career decisions for that first good job.
And I do want to follow up on that notion of business as a foreign language. We also, as you said, we introduce students to business in their freshman year, and it's a shared curriculum. All the majors are taking a lot of the basic courses, so they're getting exposed to the different elements that they're going to deal with in business. Tell me a little bit more about what the thought behind that is.
Well, what we do is we start out in the freshman year and we throw them right into the fire. They take an accounting course, which is a difficult course for a lot of people first entering business. They learn some terminology in that course and certainly accounting concepts, but in their spring semester, we have a course that all business students have to take, and there's about 200 students a year that take this. It's called Business Perspectives. And in that course, we touch on each of the specialties in business, and then we have students develop case studies. Now that course is an interesting course because we partner with Johnson & Johnson. And once a week, they send executives down from New Brunswick to our campus to talk about what Johnson & Johnson is doing in relation to what's in the course at that point.
It's great. So you see that real connection with the larger companies.
So it's the real connection, and Johnson & Johnson's great. They send down at times very senior executives, but they also send down some recent graduates. so our students can better relate to some of those younger employees.
Sure, and then you've got a role model in the classroom.
Right.
In a lot of ways. The other element that you were mentioning in terms of the practical side of the education is our co-ops. And we have a very successful business scholar co-op program that I know you're very proud of because it boasts either 99 or 100% employment 6 months out for the students, and that's about, is that a program running for 5 years or so?
Well, this is a program that has been running for at least 5 years. So we started out, slowly, and so I think it's up and running full blast for about 5 years now. We do have, your statistics are pretty close. We do have 100% employment of those students at graduation. So in that Business Scholars Co-op program, we accept students who have either performed really well in high school or who have done very well in their first year at LaSalle. They have the opportunity to do 2 full-time co-op programs, one's 4 months and one's 6 months. And they still graduate in 4 years, and during the co-op period, they're getting paid. And I think the average pay is around $18 an hour, which isn't bad for a student.
No, not bad at all, and helps go towards pay tuition, pay rent, those sorts of things. Right. And I think that's the one key point to emphasize is this is done in a 4-year time frame. The students aren't losing time, they don't have to spend an extra year on campus. And oftentimes they are offered full-time jobs by the people they've co-opted for, the companies they've co-opted for.
Right.
So is it limited to certain majors, Paul? Is it just the accounting majors, or?
No, this is for all business majors, and probably the most popular major in the co-op has really been marketing. And we have a lot of people that are really placed in very, very superb marketing positions. And just as an example, we usually have a couple students that go to Subaru and work at corporate headquarters. So there are a lot of good marketing positions open, certainly finance, accounting, and management.
So it's a program open to all our students, no matter what their program might be.
That's correct.
And I know one of your goals is to try to expand that into international opportunities as well.
And some of the students right now are doing international experiences. We had one student who did a co-op with Hallmark in the UK. We had another student do a co-op with a fashion house in Paris.
Okay. Paul, we're going to take a break right now and come back and talk about some of that. So please come back after these messages. My guest has been Dean Paul Brazina of the School of Business.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Nicole Malachowski, a U.S. Air Force Fighter Squadron Commander and the first woman pilot with the United States Air Force Aerial Demonstration Team. My fellow airmen and I know that each of us plays a huge part in our victories, whether in the air or on the ground. We couldn't accomplish our mission without using everyone's skills to reach our goals. Embracing our differences and working together is also what has made America strong. Thank you for your support, and remember, our strength lies in our diversity. This message brought to you by the United States Air Force.
For others, it may have just been a summer job. But for me, it was training. Now I'm an Air Force pararescueman, and my job is to save lives. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Being a gold medalist skier requires a lot of hard work, intense training, and time outside on the mountain. But taking care of my skin is easy and doesn't affect my performance. Every day I apply sunscreen and wear protective gear. I know protecting my skin will help prevent skin cancer and avoid wrinkles. I get my skin checked regularly by a dermatologist. 1 in 5 Americans will develop some form of skin cancer in their lifetime. My name is Julia Mancuso, and I'm wearing orange to help put a spotlight on skin cancer.
Welcome back to Academic Matters. Once again, I'm Joe Marbach, the Provost here at LaSalle University, and my guest is Paul Brazina, Dean of the School of Business at LaSalle. Paul, we left off talking about some of the international experiences of our students, but tell me how you've been here, you said 39 years, how the approach towards students has changed. You know, they're learning in different ways, and how does that affect the approach in the classroom?
Well, back in the old days, back in the early 1970s, the professor was always viewed as sort of a sage that would stand in front of the classroom, lecture, and sort of lead a discussion. But a lot of the student learning was really focused on knowing information, knowing facts. And students would read volumes of books, learn many, many concepts, and the goal was to have them retain the learning so they could recall it at a later date and then use it.
Memorization.
So a lot of memorization. And a lot of our discussions were in very general terms. So if we were talking about, for example, pension reform, we'd say, well, around 1972, a new law was enacted. And then we'd sort of have a general discussion about the law. One of the big changes today is that students, through the internet and through smart devices, are able to recall information, very accurate information, very quickly. And students really don't see where it's necessary, and I think instructors don't feel it's necessary to have students do a lot of memorization. It's really, where do you get valid information? And then once you get the information, once you recall it on an electronic device, the real question is, how do you use it? So
The application of
the application of information, how do you use it to make decisions? So going back to my other example, where an instructor might say around 1972 something occurred, a student will come back to you and they'll say, no, that was July 2nd, 1972. They'll give you the exact information. The question becomes is, how do you use that information? How can you process that, put it into a format to make some decisions?
Right. Now, oftentimes those are skills that sometimes they're referred to as the soft skills in business. It's critical thinking, it's presentation skills, it's an ability to synthesize data, which are traditional strengths of the liberal arts. And I know that that has also been part of our distinctive approach, that the business students are still grounded in a liberal arts core that in theory they're bringing into their courses in the business school, but sometimes that doesn't happen. And I know we have an initiative that's trying to link faculty in arts and sciences with faculty in business so that they're talking a common language, working on a common skill set. Tell us a little bit about that Aspen initiative.
Well, you know, it's a great initiative, and a school like LaSalle is able to do it because we have a small faculty, and we have a faculty that really communicate very nicely between schools. So a lot of times if we're developing a course, for example, in leadership, we'll have a discussion with the faculty in philosophy. We'll have a discussion with the faculty in the history department, and we can actually link some of the material together. We used to call this doubles, where we would formally link the courses. But I think in many respects now, through our mutual learning initiatives for faculty, we're linking different parts of the university together. It makes it more interesting as a professor, but it certainly enriches the students' experiences.
Right. Okay. One of the first initiatives that we worked on together, and it's largely, I give you all the credit, I just got to present it at different places, was an entrepreneurship initiative, which we didn't have in place. I came on board and you said, this is what we've got to do. You were able to get some donors. Tell us how important entrepreneurship is in business in general, and what was really motivating you to push that center, and now it's offering a minor, and it's really very much interdisciplinary in the approach that you've taken along with the director, Steve Mellick.
You know, entrepreneurship for LaSalle just seemed very natural. When we look at the families where our students are coming from, those families operate in a lot of cases in small business and family-owned businesses, entrepreneurial, small business. And it seemed like a natural to work with students to maybe say maybe there's a place for you in your family business or in a small business to take it to another level. And we certainly have many examples of that. But the other thing that was a real motivator at the time to really get into entrepreneurship was the economy. Companies were laying off employees. People who had worked for companies for 10, 15, 20 years were losing their jobs. And they really questioned whether they wanted to go back into large corporate life again. At the same time, students were having trouble getting that first good job because employers weren't hiring. A lot of economists were saying that the future of America lies in small business and entrepreneurship. So at the time, we just felt it was the right time to form a center, to bring in the expertise, to have our faculty really focus on entrepreneurship and to engage students in that. And it's been a huge success for us. We now have several courses in entrepreneurship, a full minor in entrepreneurship, and many students developing really good sustainable businesses.
Right, and we're looking to launch some of those businesses, encourage students to compete in different competitions, and hopefully we'll be able to continue and keep it funded at a really good level. And I know that the future's pretty bright in that regard. So I think it's an initiative that I'm glad I was the provost that you brought it to, because I get to claim a little bit of the credit for that. So tell us some other things that you've done in the 8 years you've been dean.
The other things that we've done is we've listened to the students and the families, and we heard families saying that they really wanted students to graduate in 4 years, and at the end of 4 years they wanted jobs, good jobs. That there had to be value for paying private school tuition. So what we did is we really focused on specialties in each major where there were jobs and there were high-paying jobs. So an example would be we did a combination Bachelor of Science and MBA that was a 4-year program for both degrees with the specialization of accounting. We did a Chartered Financial Analyst track, CFA track, in finance. We did a sales marketing track in the marketing program, and then we really focused on leadership development in management tied into this new area of business systems and analytics. So we took something that was a very technical area, and then we showed how to integrate it to the other business specialties.
So this kind of narrowing and getting our students to be laser-like in their approach to the careers that are out there has been one of the hallmarks.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our student body, the consistent message that I hear is that the families that send their kids to LaSalle are really sacrificing a lot to have that private education, and for that sacrifice they expect and they deserve a good outcome. So we've really tried to focus on the families and focus on that good outcome for them.
Well, that's great. We've got about 3 minutes left, and I'd be remiss if I didn't ask what's next for Paul Brazina. You're stepping down as dean, but you're not leaving. You're returning to faculty. What are the courses you'll be teaching, and are you going to be doing any research? What are you going to be looking at, Paul?
Well, I go back to the time when I told you I wanted to go back to faculty, that I enjoyed teaching, and I wanted to spend my final years at LaSalle back in the classroom. And I think you wanted to know from me about how much longer I expected to teach once I left the dean's job. And I think at the time I told you I was midway in my career, that I was 39 years at LaSalle at that point, and I expect to be here another 39 years. I did see the smile leave from your face at that point. But I am looking forward to getting back to the classroom. The challenges will be using the new technology and really engaging students back into learning with them.
And I'll touch back on something as you're thinking about this. So you're kind of going from one place as an administrator, and you do teach generally in our MBA program. You've taught at the Swiss campus, and you've taught at Independence Blue Cross, our Center City campus. As you start to approach undergraduates, though, you're thinking that, are they different than they were 39 years ago?
Well, I think they are different, and one of the challenges that I'm wrestling with is that I hear a lot of my colleagues complain about students having smartphones in the classroom. And a lot of people want the students to turn their technology off. I'm actually looking at a way to have them have their smart technology on during class, but to use it as we learn about sophisticated accounting concepts.
So rather than tweeting their friends, they'll be...
I'll be giving them enough work that they'll have to be out there gathering information for the class assignments.
That sounds great. Paul, I know you also want to remain involved in the life of the university beyond the classroom. Congratulations, I understand you're one of the newly elected senators on campus, faculty senators.
Well, I love that. I've been on faculty senate before, and we have a great faculty and great administration. So the fact that I can serve the university as a senator, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I think it will actually provide members of the Senate a little bit of insight that they don't get because we're behind the wall of administration, and there's often a natural area of conflict or areas where we can improve cooperation in that regard. And so sometimes I think having somebody who's been there saying, this is the way it is, might be helpful.
Well, I hope they respect my opinions, because I do think we're just one community and we have to all work together. And I know the administration takes that perspective. And so I'm hoping that I can add some value in giving a good perspective to the faculty.
Well, I'm certainly sure you will. And if your tenure as dean is any indication, the Senate's in good hands.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. My guest has been Paul Brazina, Dean of the School of Business at LaSalle University. Once again, I'm Joe Marbach, the Provost here at LaSalle. This is our last Academic Matters for the academic year. Thank you for watching our programs, and we'll see you again in September.